Hey, everybody, Madeleine here to look at the astrology for September of 2025. And boy, what a dramatic month ahead we have. Business will not be as usual as we have two eclipses. We have other transits too, but I think they're going to be dwarfed by these two big eclipses. We have Mercury moving into the sign of Virgo, which will really sharpen our minds. Will be in its exaltation in the sign of Mercury. And then we have Venus going out of Leo into the sign of Virgo, where it is more in debilitation. Well, I'll go into all 12 signs for these. And then we also have Mars moving into Scorpio. So, but I think those transits are not going to be as felt as loud as the eclipses are. We have the two eclipses. The first one is going to be in the sign of Pisces at 15 degrees 22 on the 7th of September. It is the exact same eclipse that we had on that day, same day, 2006. And then we have a second new moon lunar eclipse. The first one is a full moon solar eclipse. This is going to be a new moon solar, sorry, full moon lunar. This is new moon solar on the 21st of September in the sign of Virgo at 29 degrees. So I'm going to go into all the 12 signs for each of these transits, mostly focusing on the eclipses, of course. Now, let's go ahead and look at the first eclipse. I'm going to go ahead and share the chart. I'm outside by the lake enjoying a lovely day outside. I couldn't be inside. Now, this eclipse looks really nice. I don't know if the one in 2006 had the same blessings. I have to go back and look at it, but this promises to be quite a nice eclipse because Jupiter is ruling Pisces. And the North Node is right there, and Jupiter is trining the nodes. And this is like a very auspicious part of the sky. It's also a very spiritual part of the sky. Um, so when Jupiter is making such a favorable aspect to a lunation, it's basically showing us a higher elevated perspective because Jupiter wants to expand our life, wants us to expand our life into the direction of our Dharma, because when we walk our Dharma, we're serving humanity in the way that we were designed to serve humanity. So Jupiter is blessing this eclipse with clarity of purpose and a reinvigoration of faith in the path. And we're with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, we're clearing sort of our soul's debris, our mental debris that blocks us from our soul's knowing. And we're really following some sort of not such a clear path because the North Node and the sign of Pisces is also ruled by Neptune, which happens to be very close and also making a very positive aspect in this eclipse, which also blesses it. But this journey with the North Node in Pisces is aligning us with our true soul's essence and to walk a life where our soul's desire, where we're feeding and nurturing the soul, not the material. It is a big eclipse of releasing, because the South Node being in Virgo and full moons are big revelations and show us what we need to let go of. So it can be really challenging sometimes. If it's a relationship that needs to be let go of, it can be very, very painful. But this month will be charged with intense energies and heightened emotions and sudden twists of fate and passions and power plays, because we do have Venus in Leo, so that kind of heightens the passionate energy of this month, of course. But the eclipse will so eclipses basically end things and bring things. Eclipses something out and invite something in new. Eclipses, you see, there's Jupiter in its exaltation, by the way, which is a really good blessing for this eclipse, which makes it extremely abundant. Honestly, the more you let go and flow during this eclipse, the less struggle, trust that it's going to take us somewhere really good. Because here is Jupiter making a beautiful angle to this eclipse. Look at that. It's trining the North Node in the moon. It's a full moon lunar eclipse with Jupiter trining it like a big light saying, this is your Dharma, this is the way to go, this is what you're made for, this will nurture your soul. Leave anything behind that isn't your authentic part of your authentic path and your authentic soul's purpose. So it can come with challenges, but these are really beautiful angles. So I'm going to say we're relieved to let these things go. We're relieved to end these chapters. We're relieved to release this noise in our life. So we're basically clearing a path that takes us in a direction that truly nourishes our soul more and puts us in our true dharmic destiny, because the two things coincide, of course. All right. So that is the first eclipse. I'm going to go into all 12 signs about that. And now let's look at how beautiful that kite goes to the eclipse. So here it is. We're at the tail of the eclipse. So basically, this is untangling that big knot because it's happening at the end degree point of Pisces, or shall we say, it's opposing Saturn at that end degree point, and it's even in the shape of a kite. And here we are with the kite on the material realm, because Virgo um, the Virgo Pisces axis is all about the spiritual versus the material, right? And the practical versus the impractical. So we're going to have this kite configuration blessing us as we let something major go that releases the kite, that releases us from our karmic entanglement. So this is like the final, shall we say, it wouldn't be final because we do have the South Node continuing in Virgo, but this being the eclipse there makes it a big release of something final because it's at 29 degrees. So it's really the end of something. So we're really wrapping an old pattern, an old cycle. Our day-to-day routines are going to completely change. Our health decisions or choices are going to change. We're going to make much more soulful aligned decisions that will improve our health. We're spiritually releasing ourselves from old paradigms and old thinkings and old thoughts, and we're changing them because we're at the end degree point and Saturn is there. So Saturn is telling us, look, we have to devote to something seriously. We have to put all our eggs in this basket and devote to it, and treat it like it's a long-term thing, because we have to align with something here that Saturn wants us to align with, but at the same time, we have to release whatever's not a part of that. And we've cleared our karmic behaviors that are causing these patterns. And so, it's like we're untangling ourselves from that karmic knot in order to begin something new that really takes us a whole new cycle, a whole new 29-year cycle. So we're really headed in a new direction here, obviously very big. Now, Jupiter again is making, and again, a very positive aspect to this eclipse. So I think these eclipses are very abundant and very auspicious for everybody. So I'm excited to go through all the 12 signs. All right. I will see you there. All right. Hello, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. You guys are going to have these eclipses in your 10th and in your 4th axis. The 10th house is our social status, public life, career choices, achievements, reputation in society. It's the house of Capricorn. And then the 4th house is home, family, our house, our actual physical house, our environment, our safety zone, and it's our private life, and the 10th house is our public life. So you're going to have both of these eclipses are going to shift those two areas in your life. So with the South Node, well, we just had that new moon in Virgo at the end of the last month, August, and it was a new moon initiating some sort of new beginning in your family life, living situation. And it would have been a sudden surprise. Maybe you discovered some property available that you've always loved and you are really interested in it, or you're reevaluating with the South Node in your 4th house. You're totally reevaluating your family and where you live and where you want, and also you're letting go of your family roots, or being family roots are wonderful, but at being locked down by the family, shall we say, feeling obligated to the family. And then you've got this releasing of that, and releasing also expectations, or trying to control what your family is like, or trying to just sort of uh, any sort of family attachments. Or let's say you have a very attached relationship with your mother, you release that on this eclipse. A mother could pass on this eclipse. So that is something to consider. But the North Node, that's that new moon. So I don't want to get confused. That's about the new moon in that 4th house. We're just talking about the South Node in your 4th house. but we're having this eclipse in your 10th house. So there's a good chance something shifts in your working and your social status shifts. The way people see you shift. Now, it's in the sign of Pisces. So it's going to put you more in a career that's aligned with your soul purpose, and you're letting go of the sort of family or anything about your family that holds you back from following a more spiritual, soul aligned pursuit that really feeds you, that nourishes your soul. And you're leaving behind clutter, noise, chaos, drama of the family. Now, oftentimes, in order to sort of trigger that big release, there could be drama, chaos in your family or also in your work environment, because the full moon eclipse may reveal that you're in a toxic work environment, or that you're in a work environment that doesn't align with your dharma, or um, you decide to in this eclipse in your 10th house, you decide to pursue your dharmic, you align your career with your soul purpose, and you basically have a major career change. For sure, there'll be a major career change. Of course, if you have a planet up there, you'll feel it stronger. Depends on what planets you have there. But a 10th house eclipse, you feel a shift in your career. You either conclude a job, you could retire, or there's a shift in your leadership roles. But you're basically being guided to align your work with your destiny, your dharma, what fills you up. So that is the first eclipse. So let me go ahead and give you now this chart. Let me share the chart on that eclipse. By the way, Saturn is going to go retrograde into your 10th house at this time. So you're doing some deep reflection on clearing some sort of karmic cycle that you have in connection with 10th house matters, but it could be ending because it's at the end degree point. So Saturn in retrograde, you're releasing some sort of karmic cycle that occurs around your public persona, your career, being in the wrong career, pursuing shall we say, the career that is more ego based. So you're releasing, and you're also really looking at yourself in your dynamics, in your relationships, because Saturn is going to move into your 11th house again, um, in when it goes direct, which doesn't happen until February 2026. But anyway, when it goes back into your 11th house, that's going to shift the energies from this reflective, reevaluating karma. 10th house is a karmic house. So you're definitely deep digging in and seeing what pattern you do, because it does sextile your first house. So you're really evaluating your plus you've got Uranus there in the first house for 8 years. So you're really changing your identity. So you're really evaluating your role in the cycles that you create in relationship dynamics, but also perhaps you get involved in careers and work choices that aren't in alignment for you. But that's all going to change here. You're going to seek out something that, and you're going to seek this out when this full moon lunar eclipse is going to give you a lot of clarity. But you're also going to be really tuning into, you're stopping the noise with that South Node in Virgo of your family, and you're really tuning in to where you do want to take your life with the North Node there. What is real within you? And by the way, whatever falls away with that South Node in that fourth house, you may lose a family member, or, breakups, but whatever dissolves there in your fourth house frees you up for a fresh slate in that fourth house, because that second eclipse is going to happen there. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But you're trying to really feel your right direction more than just always being Gemini and Mercurial. You're kind of intuitively trying to sort of sense your new direction here in your work. You're following a within connectedness, something that, and you can't see it clearly. Neptune is there. So we can't see it that clearly, but we can feel it, and we know what's right. We can feel it, and we're headed towards it in little steps right now. Now, with that second eclipse coming in, oh, whoops, I didn't even go to the eclipse. So, whoops, let me go to the eclipse. That is on the 7th. So here is the first eclipse, and look at that. Jupiter in your second house, expanding your income and your finances, by the way. That's a great placement for you to have Jupiter in exaltation, trining your 10th house. I mean, this is a very abundant boost in your career and finances. This is a very auspicious full moon solar eclipse. So it looks really good for you guys. Plus, you're going to have Venus in Leo in your third house, which is going to make you rather passionate communicator, sort of fired up about, or or just designing and into aesthetics, and maybe a relationship comes in and you're communicating and there's a lot of passionate communication in a relationship or reconciling. Don't forget Jupiter rules your seventh house, so there's a good chance a relationship is coming in if you don't have one, a true divine partnerships. The relationships that start now in 2020, 25, with it being a 9 year where we're ending karmic cycles, are going to be divine partnerships. So a divine partnership coming in, um, letting go of a family. This would look like divorce for some Geminis, and then you could be in a really over your head house living situation, and then you change your career. You want to do what really you love, but it's going to not make you afford that. So you let that go and you do what you love, and it's cheaper. Your overhead is lower, but then maybe your marriage breaks up because of that, but you got to live your true life. So you kind of stop trying to hold everybody, pay for everybody, that kind of a vibe. That's that first eclipse. And then we're going to go into, so Jupiter ruling your seventh house looks like beautiful new relationship coming in if you are single. And if you're in your real relationships, things go very well with your current person. Maybe there is a big fight. Maybe you do collectively decide to drop this house and sell and bail on the property, or um, if you're renting, you decide to buy. Maybe there's something else going on there with that exaltation of Jupiter there in Cancer, which is real estate. Um, the relationship could just go through a big bumpy thing and you release the actual property, but the relationship is fine. So it can play out in a variety of different ways, but you get the idea. So yes, this is beautiful eclipse for you. I really like the houses, and it looks like even you could get a career promotion and you get to buy a bigger property and you let go of a property, or you get an inheritance and you are able to afford another property. So, or to buy, there's a lot of shifts going on in these two houses for you. So now we're going to go to the next, the 2021, 2020, the eclipse on 9/21, which is September 21. So this eclipse is happening in the Virgo at the end degree point. So there most likely is a climactic release, upset, drama. It's opposite Saturn. This is going to you're going to make a very long-term permanent decision. But the crisis that happens on this eclipse will be the catalyst. You're going to make a big change. Could be emotionally heightened experiences, drama. If your mother passed, then that fourth house area, something cleared up in that first lunation and the second, and that first eclipse clears up your fourth house for these new beginnings on this new eclipse. Also, this is a South Node eclipse still in your fourth house, so it can bring major releases. All of these eclipses do. You're letting go of an old life, debris from your life, chaos, noise. So in this eclipse, which is in your, what is it? The Virgo house is your fourth, right? Yeah, eclipse Pisces is your 10th. You sell a property, again, move, your mother could pass, your wife could get pregnant. Um, Fourth house is always involving family. You could let go of your family. You could let go of a relationship with a child. Um, you could let go of trying to control your family, trying to make it a certain shape so it fits what you want as a family. And you're going more with the flow of the way it naturally is going to fall together. You're going to let go and let a family, your true soul family, fall into shape. So then these new beginnings of that fourth house, where that this eclipse right here that I'm looking at really, really ends a pattern, because Jupiter, that Saturn in retrograde with Neptune in the end degree point, some sort of crisis comes to head where you just are done and you release and you move on and you change the property or you move or you end a relationship or I mean this is dramatic, right? Or you and also this is the health, spirit, mind, body axis, so you could discover a health issue. But you know that your property's unhealthy, you could discover that there's an issue there. But anyway, basically you're moving, you're shifting your life in these two realms, and you're becoming more liberated in alignment with your dharmic, and you're releasing the debris and the noise in your life that stopped you from connecting with who your soul, your essence, and your true nature. And you're finding out, because that first eclipse in your 10th house, what is your true dharmic purpose and soul? And then that Virgo eclipse, that new beginning, could put you into the practical decisions and detailed tasks at hand that are needed in order to implement a new beginning in that 10th house. Because so in other words, paperwork, contracts, you know, all kinds of stuff. Maybe you're buying a property or you get a new job and then you have to buy a new property. So you're doing a lot of paperwork, you know, with that new moon there. So it is a very detailed, practical, hands-on, taking care of the details and busyness around the new beginnings that are initiated on that new moon in your fourth house. So new family, new house, new property. Um, like let's say your wife gets pregnant or you get pregnant, then you are building a new room or something for the child. And Saturn being opposing this, we're clearing that slate, we're dissolving an old cycle. So these are new beginnings that are going to be the beginnings of the new cycle that are going to last and be a significant new cycle for us. Like let's say you buy a property and you move, you're going to be there for a good 29 years. All right, Gemini. And the other thing I will talk about here is quickly before I sign out, because I will mention the other aspects that impact you right now with the Mercury Venus. So Mercury again in your third house and Venus there could be passionate communication with people in general around you, hopefully harmonic because of Venus being a harmonic energy, but there could be a fiery, passionate experience in that. And then, or you're just expressing art, creating art visually. You're feeling very creative and artistic in your social media platform. Then we've got Mercury, as the month goes on, Mercury is going to move into your fourth house there early in the month, where again, I mean, super busy at home stuff. You're getting rid of clutter, decluttering, um, clearing space for some new beginning. Like if you're having a baby or a child, you're clearing space. The junk room is turning into the nursery as a metaphor. So that's a super busy period while Mercury is staying in your fourth. And then Mercury is going to move into your fifth house, creative projects, media projects, inspired. It's in the sign of Libra, ruled by Venus, inspired creative artistic projects, you know, entrepreneurial ventures. You might start a creative, you know, decorating, getting ideas to decorate and or just ideas in general for new beginnings, new projects. That eclipse that's happening at the end of the month, at the 21st, right around there. You're getting some big new creative writing ideas, entrepreneurial ventures, communication projects, you know, publishing or to be public speaker or to be comedian, whatever your chart says, who you are. All right. And then Venus by the end of the month will move into that Virgo house too. Again, very focused on the aesthetics of your property and how it looks and it's beautiful. Maybe if you're selling it, you really sort of fancy it up and give it a nice presentation look. All right. I hope that was clear and helpful for you. Have a wonderful month, Gemini. I hope please like and subscribe. And if you would like to be on my emailing list, do email me. My link is below. And if you would like to book a reading, my website is soullevels.com. There's a booking link. All right. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.